I am Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston. I attended the University of Houston. I did live on campus and I stayed in the Moody Towers on campus. I had a wonderful time, great time, as a matter of fact. I had the fortunate pleasure of being living in the Moody Towers. I stayed on the same floor with the athletes, man, with Otis Birdsong and with Phi Slamma Jamma, all of them. I don't know how I got on that floor with them, but you talking about some people who believe in having a lot of fun, great guys. I had a great time at the Moody Towers, although we spent a lot of our time over at the quads when they were in existence, because that's really where all the parties were, over the quad. I'm a native Houstonian, so I grew up in the city. I lived on campus for 2 years. And so even though coming from the city of Houston, it allowed me to have that on-campus college experience. I'm very grateful for that. As a result of that, for example, I got involved with the student government because I was on campus and became Speaker of the Student Senate because I was hanging out with a lot of those individuals and other student organizations on campus. That eventually led, for example, to me getting even involved in politics. And then I debated for 2 years, you know, while I stayed on campus. And so many of the lawyers that I end up working with down the road, many of them we debated together right on the campus of the University of Houston, living in the dormitories. So that was a setup for things that ultimately took place down the road, either as a lawyer or getting into politics. Many of the students that I was in school with, I am still interacting with to this very, very day. For example, people that are working for me in the city. We were classmates at the University of Houston. One of them was in my wedding. Okay, and then in terms of on the campaign side, many of the people that I debated with have been a part of me running in the legislature, running for mayor. We've interfaced with quite a bit. Been at the law firms. You know, I've worked very closely with a number of the people that I met on the campus of the University of Houston. When I first went to law school, for example, at Harvard, one of the people that I stayed with when I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, was the person who was head of one of the student organizations on the campus of the University of Houston. So quite frankly, many of the people that I met during my stay at the University of Houston have become lifelong acquaintances. Those relationships continue to exist. It just makes a difference. I mean, you get that on-campus experience, and that's even if you live in the same city in which the university exists. It's just different. And my living on campus for 2 years drew me closer to the University of Houston. The relationships were even more enhanced because when you're on campus and living in the same dormitory with somebody every day, every week, every month, a year, you can't help but to establish some very close relationships. I highly recommend it. Nothing against people who commute, but for me to have been able to live on campus for 2 years just created a very strong bond and established some very quality relationships. Go Cougs!